Is it Pranya or Pranya?
Pranaya.
Pranaya.
Oh, Pranaya. Okay, sorry, my bad.
Right.
All right. So all yours, Neerav.
All right. So, welcome everyone to the 106th Friday session. So, last time we had a very interesting conversation, which was should we use AI when interviewing? And the answer to that point is well, you should. So, it really matters how you use it. And it's a double-edged sword. So, either you're good at it or you're not. So, there's a significant risk associated with that. So, today we have our volunteer Achyut, who's going to help us. So Achyut and Prasad have been collaborating together to do this event of how would you interview using AI in a task. So having said that, we can start the event for today.
Awesome. So the idea for today's event is, how would you leverage AI? The question that you should be thinking is, it's eventually going to be that most interviews will have some sort of AI going to be used already. Right? The people that know how to use it will have an advantage. The people that don't will be at a disadvantage. So the idea here is, how do we prepare for it? So let's start thinking about a simple task. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give Achyut a task. Okay. And Achyut is going to complete that task however he feels it is appropriate. And then we will have a discussion around it. Okay. Everybody ready? Just do thumbs up if you're ready, and then we can get going. And by the way, we are only doing the conversation with people that have their cameras turned on. Awesome. All right. So let's go on to the next slide. Okay. Now, here's the task. And by the way, this is real tasks. Right? There's no simulation. This is a task that was given to one of the members of our community. And the task was design a dashboard for a call center. Okay. Now, we are going to treat this as a whiteboard experience. A whiteboard experience is, it's real time where I'm on the call, where Achyut is on Zoom, and both of us are talking to each other. And we are, wait, Neerav, don't jump around here. Jo bhi hai, whoever is sharing. So the idea is that we are going to be on a whiteboard where this task can be given, and I am going to be observing Achyut in real time to see how this person is trying to get the task done. Okay. All right. So Achyut, you understand the task, design a dashboard for a call center?
Yes, Prasad, I do. And I'm ready for it.
All right. So let's share Achyut's screen and go for it. How would you solve this problem? And
All
again,
right.
this is a whiteboarding experience. So I'm available to answer any questions that you have or any doubts you may have.
Right. Okay. So I'll start sharing my screen, and there we go. Here I have my chat GPT opened, and okay, what I will do is I will start with my prompt. I would give it a role at a highly experienced UX designer, employs skills in UI and UX patterns, uh, strategic thinking, maybe prioritization, uh, and uh, and any other relevant skills. I have an interview tasks to accomplish, and I want you to help me with it. The task is to create a dashboard for a call center. I want you to come up with the best possible solution so that I can directly start designing in Figma. And then I hit enter. Creating a dashboard for a call center requires understanding the key functions and needs of the users, typically call center agents and their supervisors. Here's a strategic approach to designing the dashboard, focusing on user experience and functionality, understanding user needs and goals, define key features. Okay, agents, supervisors, define key features. Okay, real-time call management, customer information panel, performance metrics, supervisor dashboard, okay, notifications and alerts. These are all like, okay, key features, nice design principles, clarity, ensure information is easily readable, efficiency, scalability, accessibility, oh, wireframe and layout, main areas for agents, main areas for supervisors, top bar, okay, I have some patterns here. Prioritization and iterative design start with core features that will be most okay. Use iterative design, start with basic wireframes, then add details with the test users, technical considerations. Mm, okay, this is great. Can you now come up with a highly detailed plan for each section in the dashboard? Certainly, let's dive into the detailed plan for each section of the call center dashboard. Okay, I like this. It's starting from the top bar, navigation menu, quick links, different parts such as real-time call status, customer search and reporting, nice user profile, agent or supervisor details with options for status updates, available, busy, offline, notifications, agent dashboard, left pane, nice, center, active call management, right side pane is call notes and history, supervisor dashboard, left pane is navigation and filters again, center is real-time data visualization. What is center here? Active call management, okay. Right pane is detailed metrics and agent management, performance metrics and reporting, historical data analysis, custom reports, design considerations, consistency, uniform design, okay, responsiveness, customization. So, yeah, Prasad, I'm like, I guess within probably 5 to 7 minutes of time, I got pretty much good enough detail to start off with this information on Figma. I guess from here on, I'll be taking this data up, referring to it, and I'll be designing a dashboard and I'll be submitting you uh, in a while. I'll send it across to you.
Awesome. So at this point, you have all the information you need. You'll take this information and start putting it in Figma.
Right. So
Awesome.
I'll start sharing my screen.
So
Yeah.
my question to everyone here is, would you hire Achyut based on what you have seen? And then think about why not? For those of you that would say hire, why? Why? For those of you that say don't hire, why not? Have your reasoning.
Yes, and for the people on YouTube as well, you can drop in your answers in the comment section.
Please hire me, guys.
All right. I'm waiting for one more answer. Hire or no hire, and then we can close this off. Awesome. Cool. So let's look at the poll results. Okay. About 43% of the people of you guys said hire. About 57% said don't hire. Okay. I want to take some comments now I'm just curious, of the people that said hire, why would you hire Achyut? What about the process made you feel like I really want to hire this guy? Just raise your hand and unmute yourself and you're ready to go. Nobody wants to say why they want to hire you. Okay. People that say they don't want to hire. Can somebody tell me why they don't want to hire Achyut? Go ahead, Pooja.
Hi, Prasad. So first of all, Achyut did not ask why we need to design a dashboard. Then there are no target audience for whom he has to design the dashboard. He didn't understand what are the pain points or what they want to achieve by designing a dashboard. And accordingly then asking about how detailed dashboard could be. So I think these are the first few questions we need to ask and then go ahead with it.
I would argue this. When Achyut was using the system, it found two audiences. Okay. One audience was the what do you call, the call center employees, and then the agents, and then the supervisors.
Yes.
So the audience was pretty clearly defined. And then, the features were clearly defined. So I don't understand why you feel that
But
Achyut
there
did
were
not do
no,
his duty.
yeah, but there were no pain points. What exactly they want to, see on their dashboard, like as an agent, as an employee, or as a,
But it
supervisor.
had that,
So
it
how
had that
could they?
information there.
It wasn't
Achyut, can
enough,
you,
I
but
thought.
again, how does it matter for the pain points? Because if the AI is telling you these are the features you need, and even if you skip the pain points, it's good enough, no?
No, I don't think so. Because then it will be a like not a but strategic information on the dashboard.
But if the features are the same, how does it matter? Because, I mean, I'm just curious. Achyut, if you could
The
share your
data
screen.
the data which we want to show on the
Huh,
dashboard, that
huh.
won't be much clearer, I felt.
Okay, so you feel somehow there's a lack of fidelity. But
Yeah.
my argument is, even if the lack of fidelity, while he is on Figma, he can figure out what he's missing, no?
But if we have it, if we are using AI and if we have it at the first, I mean, before going on to Figma or any tool, that would be great because then the thought process is clear, rationals
Okay.
are clear, and then while designing, while doing ideation, it would be pretty much easy for Achyut to deliver a better result.
Fair enough. So what I'm hearing you say is, well, what he's done is okay,
Yeah,
but if he had that information, it'll be faster. But that's
yeah.
not a no hire decision. It is like, okay, I'm going to ask him questions about it.
But when he will be answering the questions, if the thought process is not clear, probably it might create a negative point for him for not hiring. That's what I feel.
All right, cool. Thanks, Pooja. That's a really good point. Go ahead, Ramandeep. What are
Thank
your
you.
thoughts?
Yeah, I think the problem statement is that like design like the dashboard for call center. I think like before putting like directly with that one liner, he should have probed because you said like if you have anything to ask, like if I like I'm assuming it from the whiteboarding point of view, like he should have probed a bit more to refine his prompt, okay, to get a relevant output. So that's the thing I think which I lagged it directly, like it's go went into like chat GPT and put it out, and the first version, like whenever you like give like really broad input or prompt to the chat GPT, it's like basically generic. But in the whiteboarding, I'm testing like how is like probing the problem and how from various angle is thinking, and how is like you can say using the chat GPT to more like brainstorm as a partner instead of like totally relying on it to give them, okay, what is the user and all that, what other question need to be asked. So that's for me like on the side, like prompt could have been like streamlined or made better.
So,
And
Ramandeep, is your feedback bad because you felt he didn't ask enough questions or probed enough with the AI? Or is your feedback bad because he just relied too much on the AI? What is your feedback?
I think to start with, it relied too much on the AI to starting with it. Like he could have
Okay.
like, asked you and then refined the prompt and then went into the AI.
Okay,
So
so you're saying it's bad that he didn't ask me questions.
yeah, because like he just went there and put it the prompt, and I'm there like if I'm in a whiteboarding, so I'm expecting like to him how he's thinking also. That part is also there. It's
And I would give you some agreement. I would agree with that. But even if he had asked me some clarifying questions, I would say this is the task. Go figure it out.
Mhm.
So he would not have received anything extra from me.
Okay.
Okay. However, his asking me a question, not asking me a question, is definitely a negative for Achyut.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So that's a good point. Go ahead, Muzakir.
Yeah, so I would also completely agree with Ramandeep that he completely relied on the AI. With AI or ChatGPT, we get a basic structure, ki how to get a basic direction. But then those information could have been evaluated once and ideated, and then he could have, relied on it.
Got
Yeah.
it. So again, so it's a feedback. Awesome. Thank you, Muzakir. Go ahead, Pranaya.
Yeah, I agree with both of them because we don't particularly I didn't understand what the problem is. Like, for example, if you have given me a task, design a dashboard for a call center, like what is a problem? Like, who are the users? And if I keep that first part aside, if he gave the second prompt to in the second prompt, I felt like there are a lot of dashboards that the ChatGPT is suggesting. So, on what basis that he's going to design it? Like, which is the dashboard that he's going to take? Why? Like, those questions I had, like,
So you didn't necessarily understand the logic of why he was doing something.
yeah.
Okay, good point. Go ahead, Tanmay. Thank you, Pranay.
He created a good baseline, but the thing was now, what was the main goal of the assignment, right? What were the users' main primary requirements? What, according to the company or according to whoever is trying to hire, whichever company is hiring, if he first identified the users, like all the questions were sort of asked in one go. But if he would have broken it down and then understood, okay, these are my users, then these are the main requirements or these are the main issues they are facing, then put up a prioritization list saying I want to prioritize these particular things, and then went ahead and look for what do you say, different components or whatever are required for them to use in the dashboard, and then went ahead and got the list. Maybe he would have had a more clearer direction, like he would have asked the person who is hiring the questions, the main questions, as what are they expecting. And if it was still a little vague answer, he could have always said that these are my users, this is what I've identified are the main problems according to your company or according to whatever services you're providing, and this is the priority that we are giving. And then after that, found out the user groups and found their pain points and then addressed them, then got a
Got
proper
it.
list of what could be added in the dashboard.
Got it. So what I'm hearing is you wanted to, your negative is that he just tried to get everything in one shot. He should have done it in smaller
Yes.
steps for more
Yes.
accuracy. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. So let's actually think about this. So thank you, everyone. So let me encapsulate what all of you said and give you my approach from as a recruiting person or as a hiring manager. Okay. Let's go on to the next slide. Okay. So the key questions that I'm trying to answer as part of an interview is this. Does this person understand the problem? I need to get clarity on that, right? Once they understand the problem, do they know how to use AI? Right? Now, for this is an important question because for me, I'm trying to understand, are they just going to use AI as a crutch or are they using AI as a multiplier of their abilities? Right? So as a crutch means, you're just telling the AI what to do. The AI is giving you back some feedback and you're saying, okay, if that's the case, I don't need to pay Achyut a salary. I just buy $20 a month, OpenAI, the ChatGPT membership and I'm good. Right? So that is a huge difference here. So I'm basically trying to understand, is this person capable of using AI, or will AI use him and then this person is just going to create more confusion in my organization? Okay. And then last point I'm trying to look is, does this person have a reasoning, a thought process? Okay. Because no matter what AI you use, I want to be sure that this person has that thought process. For me, the challenge is I really didn't understand what Achyut understood. He just basically put exactly, it could have been some kind of prompt he got off LinkedIn or wherever and just copied and pasted it. I really don't know what he understood, what he didn't understand. He did not add anything to it. Okay. So I'm definitely sure he didn't understand the problem. Now, when I look at, did this person know how to leverage it? I don't know. I think he just basically took whatever he gave the question to the AI gave some kind of response, and he said, okay, I'm ready to go to Figma. So in my mind, I don't think Achyut knew how to manage the AI. Did he have a reasoning or not? I don't know. He just talked about, okay, it is there, this is there, this is there, but I don't know what is the value of it, how the trade-offs are and all that. I have no idea. So essentially, just by looking at that for 5-10 minutes, I would have made a decision that I'm not going to hire Achyut right off that call. Okay. Now, one piece of feedback I will give you is for those of you that said yes, you would hire. I would have loved to hear from you. Okay. Because it doesn't matter whether you're correct or wrong. Okay. If you were wrong and you presented it, okay, you will never forget that mistake and you will always fix it. Okay. I'll tell you one simple thing. When I was in my Harvard program, we did some about a 90 odd case studies. Okay. Out of 90 odd case studies, I was probably correct in maybe 3 or 4 case studies. I was wrong in 86 case studies or 87 case studies. Okay. So, and I know both those numbers don't add up to 90, but I'm assuming I was absent for some classes. So that's fine. But again, the idea here is, even though I was wrong, I learned more from being wrong than from being correct. So what I would say is, don't be afraid to be wrong and don't be afraid to say it on the call, because if you are wrong and you know you are wrong on the call, you will never forget why you were wrong and you will learn the process. Okay. If you're shy and you're worried what other people will think, chances are your opportunities to learn reduce. Okay. Now, I'm going to give Achyut another chance. Okay. Achyut now has all of this feedback. So Achyut, you have another chance to share. So if you could stop sharing and then we could start give Achyut access, that will be great. Go ahead, Muzakir. You have a point?
Yeah, Prasad. So this is for you that in the second question, in the second that is he able to use AI for that? What would be your take? He is just relying on that very little, or he's convenient with it?
So I would just say that it was not whether he relied or not that was the problem. The problem was that he did not know how to use AI. He just took a prompt and he put it in there, and he had a series of prompts. Like if you go on LinkedIn or whatever, you have hundreds of people posting their prompts, isn't it? So as far as I'm concerned, he just copied one of those prompts and pasted it there. I don't know whether he thought about it or not.
Okay.
And so for me, I don't think he understands how to use AI. That is what my assessment is at that moment.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That answers my
Okay.
question.
Cool. So go ahead, Achyut.
All right. Thanks everyone for the feedback. So I'll give it another take now, once again. Let's see how it goes. And this time around, Prasad, before I go ahead, Do you have any more information that you could provide me with, like who could be the users, or are you specific about any one kind of a user who want to use your dashboard or something? And also I wanted to know how much time do I have for submission?
I think
Because
you have 1 hour for submission.
1 hour, okay.
Okay. As far as any other data, this is pretty much it. I'm just very curious to understand your thought process. And again, honestly, if before the AI time, I would have given you some clarification, but because today we expect everybody to use AI, the cost of exploring and taking a risk is very small. The amount of time you lose to explore other options and other alternatives is very small. So I would actually rather want to see how you make your choices and how you make your decision. So I would not give you any other data beyond what I have given you, which is you're creating a dashboard for a call center. Now it is up to you how you handle it.
All right. So just before I go ahead, confirming that the task is for designing a dashboard for a call center, and the second one is I have 1 hour of time.
You have 1 hour of time. Absolutely.
Great. Okay, so I will start off. So I want you to partner with me in the UX task. The task is to create a dashboard for a call center. The task is to create a dashboard for a call center, and I will be guiding you step by step to accomplish this. Let me know when you are ready. Right.
So at this point, this is the same as last time. He just gave it, but only this time the core difference is he said step by step. Okay.
So before we move ahead with the task, let us complete a few preliminary steps. First, let's figure out who the users could be for a call center dashboard. Come up with most probable users. Let me see. For a call center dashboard, the most probable users would be call center agents. Team leaders, supervisor, call center managers, quality assurance analyst. What are these people doing? Team leaders and supervisors. Okay, call center manager, high level managers responsible for the overall operation of the call centers. Aggregated performance data. Okay, quality assurance analyst. They would use the dashboard to access call recordings, evaluate agent performance, identify areas of improvement. Okay, this seems to be more quality assurance, and call center managers seem to be more process and operations oriented. Call center agents, team leaders, this is more team oriented. Call center and agents, IT support staff, technology and infrastructure correctly. I guess this kind of goes into operations or processes. Executive management, senior executives may use the dashboard to get a high level view. Okay, this is fine, but let's pin it down to say 3 top level, 3 high level, 3 high level users. They are line managers. Line managers, this will be managing the teams. Group managers, more into processes and operations, and or organization leaders. Confirm these key as users and wait for me to go to the next step. Okay, line managers. Okay, I'm ready for the next step. Okay, now we have the users. Now that we have the users clearly defined, let's start figuring out what kind of decisions these users would be making. I want you to create a table with column 1 being the users and column 2 being decisions. Okay. Populate the decisions column with probable decisions that these 3 users are going to make. The table, okay, nice. Monitor agent performance and productivity, allocate resources based on call volume, manage day-to-day operations and staffing, handle escalations and complex, okay, enhanced adherence. Oversee multiple teams and team leaders, analyze performance data to identify trends and areas for improvement, plan and implement strategies for operational efficiency, manage budgets and control costs, ensure compliance with company policy, set strategic objectives and goals for the call center, make high-level decisions regarding investment and resource allocation. Okay, this is reasonably fine. But let's see something. 1 second. Okay. Consider this to be the final table for let's call this table 1.0. Now, next, I want you to add another column to the table and populate it with possible data these 3 users would be looking at to take the above mentioned decisions. Okay. Data agent, okay, possible data, individual team and performance metrics, call handle time, resolution time seems good. Real-time call volume and queue statistics, staffing levels, shift patterns, details of escalation, SLA, complaints rates. This is- Okay, okay. Aggregated performance reports across trend analysis, historical data, operational efficiency metrics, financial report, and budgetary data, compliance and audit trail reports. Okay. Let's look. Mhm. Strategic planning documents and performance benchmarks, investment and resource allocation, reports, customer satisfaction surveys, and market research organization. Strategic planning documents and performance benchmarks. Okay, fine. I'll let it be. Okay. Now let's call this table compound one. Next.
So while Achyut is doing this, I want to, Achyut, you keep going,
Sure.
but I want you to think about how he's approaching it.
Let us figure out.
Okay. What he's done is he's broken it down. So just by looking at it, I can tell there's a process and a system he has in his mind. Right. I can also see what he did was when he selected the 3 different users out of the 5 options, there was a thought process behind it. Now, the one negative that I would give to him was he said it, oh, okay, this guy manages the processes, this guy manages people, this guy manages, but he never wrote it. Now, because he never wrote it, I think the quality of answers are a little bit less. That's a negative that I would probably have a conversation with him afterwards. Like, why didn't you write it? Because that would have improved it. And in fact, if he had that idea, why didn't he just define those 3 users in the beginning? Why did he ask for that choice of users from the beginning, from the system? Right? But those are minor hiccups. It's not a big issue. The way I look at it, he's looking at systematically, he's looking at the thought process, he's evaluating all the choices, and then he's making modifications wherever necessary, and is putting out the answers. Okay. So, Achyut, how many more queries do you have?
I guess my thought process is right now we are done with decisions and data, sir. Now I'm generating for actions. I would like to look at actions. And the last thing I just want to see what are the features relevant depending on decisions for data and actions. I just want to come up with features.
Okay.
And once the table is finalized, I just want to see who could be the ideal user that I want to start designing for because there's only 1 hour time. I just want to
Okay.
figure out who that ideal user could be that if I solve for them, probably tomorrow the solution would also be scalable. But
Okay.
as of now itself, when I'm looking at this, I see that group managers make sense because they are more process and they are more process and operations oriented, and rest of the teams actually be it organization leaders or line managers, they kind of work on similar data but in different formats. So there are 2 more functions. So should I go ahead like quickly? And
No, so from what I'm hearing is you're basically saying you would want to create the screen for group managers. Is that correct?
yes, sir.
And the reason being is because the kind of information that they have and the actions that they use are very similar to what the team manager would need, as well as at an operational level, it's a higher level understanding. So that's why you feel that creating the dashboard for the group manager is your best bet.
I feel like that is the ideal user and I have to start with that.
Got it. So notice right here, there is a prioritization. He saw all these users. He said, this is the user I'm going to prioritize. This is my reasoning. Now, if it was me, my reasoning would have been, and again, just for clarity, Achyut and I had a discussion of how we're going to present the stuff. But what he's presenting and how he's doing it is pretty much in his hands, right? So my decision would probably be like, listen, in an organization where you have 100 people, okay, you would have maybe 5 organizational leaders. Okay. Maybe about 10 to 20 group managers, and probably maybe about 30 line managers, and maybe about 200 or 300 people that are working underneath there. Okay. So when I look at it from that perspective, I will probably say, and again, I'm just doing it as these numbers don't make sense as I'm talking about it, but again, it's a pyramid structure. You have the fewest organizational leaders, then you have the next level is group managers, and the third level is line managers. Okay. My argument would be line managers are probably seeing things live in front of them, so they probably may not be as valuable for them as it is for group managers. And because group managers have a decent volume of people, as well as they will get the most amount of value for the data, I think that would make a good sense for me as well. Okay. Now that said, let's go back to the presentation. And you could complete it and share it across afterwards, but or you have already done one sample, right?
I deleted it, so
Okay, fine. Cool. That's
I
fine.
didn't want to refer to it, and I want to do it ad hoc. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So Nirav, we're not able to see your screen.
Yeah. So I just wanted to add kind of one point. I don't know if that is relevant. Please correct, sir. So what I have done right now is, I mean, a lot of people think that prompting is very difficult or something like that. But the point is, what I'm thinking in my mind, simple English sentences I'm trying to put there. Maybe kind of trying to guide a blind man with perfect instructions, if I have to put it in a right way.
Right. And I think the point is while you're doing it, the person who's watching can also see how you're thinking through it and what your logic is. And
Yes.
again, remember going back to our original, I think about it was two Fridays ago or 3 Fridays ago, we talked about how many different types of users do we have. One person is managing people, one person is managing the process, one person is managing the business. So
Yes.
at any point in time, you'll have only these three guys when you're looking at dashboards. So let's go on to the next slide, Nirav. All right. So when you think about it, did Achyut understand the problem? I would say yes, he understood. He had a sense of who the users were. Even though he wasn't typing it in, he was speaking it through. So I understood, yeah, he made a mistake, but I still understand that he got the right direction. Okay. So that is where I would say approach. He understands the problem. Now let's go on to the next one. Was this person using AI independently, or was AI using this person? I would argue this person was using the AI appropriately well. So I would say yes. Did this person have a reasoning? Yes. And so at the end of the day, I'm not looking for someone who can do ChatGPT's work, right? Or give a command, because there's 100 people that will do that. What I'm looking for is somebody who understands what ChatGPT is, how it can work, and how I can leverage it. So you can see the same task, two different strategies, significantly different outcomes. Correct? Questions or thoughts? Go ahead, Kavya.
So I just wanted to check that we were considering this like a whiteboarding exercise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if it were a live thing, I think a little more interaction would have been helpful, like during the steps, because he did break it down into a few steps. Maybe a little confirmation or a little interaction would have been useful.
Absolutely. It would definitely have been a lot more useful. If for example, Achyut had said in the beginning, say, hey, my general process is this. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to ask for this, ask for that. You explain it. Don't type it in. You explain it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then you say, I'm going to type this in. Let's see. So you can say, well, I read this. So don't do the reading. I read these. I think this makes sense. I don't think this makes sense. I don't think this makes sense for these reasons. So explain your reasoning as you're talking through it, and then it becomes a lot more valuable. Was that what you had in mind, Kavya?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think this is one of those skills that you get through practice. The more you practice it, the better you get at that showmanship. Okay, the storytelling component. Awesome. Any other questions, thoughts, comments?
Sir, I had a question on what Kavya said first. Kavya, thanks for the feedback. So, sir, like I know I was getting caught in my mind. So, what you were trying to say is that I should have asked you something more because I didn't want to ask you anything more because in the beginning you were like, okay, this is the data that you will be getting, pretty much. So that held me back from asking anything else. But I understand that I need not be reading the entire thing. Is that what you are saying, sir?
So no, so there's a difference. Okay, so one is remember the first time you did it, you asked, if you would ask me a question right off the bat, well, what is there any other data that you want me to have? Right? That's irrelevant. Whereas after you do it and you say, well, I've looked at these, these are the tasks. I believe that this task is important here. I believe that this task is not important here. So I'm going to modify it and I'm going to change it. Okay. And so this is what it is. And then you can turn around and say, okay, Prasad, from my understanding, this is the way I've looked at it. Okay. This is what I think is right for these reasons. Do you have any thoughts or do you have any inputs or anything I may have missed? Okay. It's a very interesting question. Do you say, am I right? Is one style of asking the question. The other style of asking the question is there anything I may have missed here?
Okay.
Okay. So when you say, am I right? You are doubting your ability.
Right. Yes.
Okay. You don't want to say that. So it's like, I've done all this. This is my assessment is the best solution. Have I missed anything here? So what you're saying is, I've done this to the best with the knowledge about that domain that I have.
Right.
Okay. Do you have any other domain knowledge that I may not be aware of that may change the outcome?
Correct.
Okay. So once you make a decision and you ask me, you will have my respect because I know that you are capable of making decisions.
Got it.
Okay. If you don't make a decision and you ask me, guess what happens? I'm going to look at you and say, listen, you're just trying to get the answers out of me.
Right.
Isn't it? So there's a very subtle difference between doing it. And again, what is the cost of exploring with AI? It might take you 5 minutes more, but what's the big deal?
That's it. Yeah.
Right. But the core thing is you need to be able to make a decision and ask me a question. Have I missed anything here?
Right. So the entire game changes once I take a decision, then asking would be different rather than taking a decision without taking a decision asking. That's kind of trying to get an answer.
Exactly. And the other thing is you're always stating your assumptions. You're explaining your assumptions. Okay. You say, I'm going to choose the group managers because I believe that they are a larger volume than the organizational leaders.
Right.
Right. And also because the metrics that they use are a combination of what the organizational leaders need to see as well as what the line managers need to see.
Yes.
Right? So if I solve for the group manager, the chances that I can then create an interface for the other two is relatively easy. Whereas if I create for the organizational leader, then that's unique, then the line manager is unique. So for me, I would rather think about one that does the job for everyone and then specialize afterwards.
Got it. Yeah.
So now when you state your assumptions in your thought process, get what happens. People are not questioning your decisions. They are giving you inputs on your assumptions.
Right.
You understand? Because now, if you're wrong, I know which assumption led you to the wrong thing. So I might say, well, actually, no, that assumption might not be right. Maybe you should go with this assumption. Okay, got it. So they're not giving you the answer. They don't feel they've given you the answer, but at the same time, you're having a conversation.
Right, right.
Cool. Anything else you want to add, Kavya?
Nothing for me.
Cool. Awesome. So everybody on the same page with this? How do you leverage AI? Okay. So what I want to do now is the last couple of minutes, I want to go over my summary of how you should approach this. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. Understand that when you're using AI as part of your interview process, okay? Now, again, if you're using it as part of your work, it's a lot less pressure. You don't have to explain your thought process. That's fine, okay? However, when you're using it as part of your interview process, understand that prioritization is part of your job. It is your job to prioritize. It is so always order and reorder. So one of the other things that Achyut could have done is say, well, priority one is this, priority two is this, reorder the list in the order of priority. Okay. Just by stating that, you are now making your priorities explicit. Okay. Now, again, you have to be very careful between somebody just, paying attention, somebody you using up a lot of time. So you always make sure you have some time frame for it. I'm going to do ideation for about 15 minutes. That's what you do. And then you start using the AI. So prioritization is absolutely important. Don't try to put too much information in the beginning. Go step by step, because if there's a mistake, you can always go back and correct it. Okay. And I guarantee you, there will be mistakes. Okay. And you should be able to catch them. And the other one is have a framework that you're following. Again, these are the frameworks. Whenever I teach frameworks. So when you think about the dashboard design, what did we say? Well, who are your users? What are the decisions that people are trying to make? Well, what data do you have? And how do you use that data to kind of help the person make those decisions, right? So that is what actions are people trying to make. So these are all the things that, that have to be there in every dashboard. Okay. So always follow the framework. So keep the framework, follow the framework, and do not outsource to AI like what Achyut did the first time. Just do this. You are helping me do the task and just do it. The other thing, always what Achyut did was something very subtle. He requested data in a table, in a tabular format. Tables are easy to read, easy to debug. If you're getting in a lot of paragraph format, they're not easy to read, easy to debug, and therefore you don't get credit for it. Okay. Now control the process, build your table one column at a time. Each column is one part of the process. Okay. And also know what you're supposed to give and what you're supposed to get back from the system. Again, that is something. So in my mind, I would say what you were supposed to have given to the system is, here are the users, here's the broad outline of the user. You would have given that first. And then let the system generate the rest. Okay, as opposed to ask the system to give me a set of users, in which case it could have you gone in any direction. It was too risky. Okay, now always show how you did the critical thinking. Okay, edit, modify, prioritize, order. Those are the things that you want to do, and always communicate your assumptions and your insights at each of the steps. Don't just read. What is the assumption? What is the insight? Okay. And finally, practice, right? You need to practice to tell this story. Okay. I've seen a lot of people that are super smart with AI, but again, if they don't practice it, it doesn't work. And again, even for Achyut, he's like, he's been experimenting with tools forever. Okay. But the first time I gave him the task without any input, he did exactly what we did in the first task. He just did everything and said, here's all the answers, we are ready to go. I said, well, how will you get selected if you do that? So the point is, you may be really smart. You may know how to use AI, but unless you practice the art of telling the story and the art of sharing your process, the other person will not know what's going on. And so their natural reaction will be biased against selecting you. Okay. Questions, thoughts, doubts at this point? Yeah, we can stop sharing. That's fine. Go ahead, Achyut.
Sir, I just wanted to share one of my experiences when I was practicing for this. And of course, this is the problem statement that we did in our previous call also. One thing that I understood, sir, like this was told by you, and somehow it's stuck in my mind very strongly that do not use it as a crutch. So even though I have explored AI a lot, I'm exploring, not a lot, but whatever I can. And I'm been writing some prompts and everything, but I kind of still went ahead in that thing, and I kind of I made myself no more relevant for that role. First time when I gave it a prompt, like I showed you, right, sir, in the first attempt, I made myself that's when I started right from the beginning. I always, no matter how much exploration of AI I do, there's always this priority in my mind to master that kind of prioritization and things like that, which I feel is very important. So that's why I wanted to re-emphasize that. And the second time I actually watched that event video 3 times to get it right.
Right.
Because
And I think this is, yeah, go ahead.
there's the framework and everything. The real thing is there.
Yes. So when you're preparing for leveraging AI, always understand, have your frameworks ready. Which framework will apply to what kind of problem? You should have that with you.
Right.
Okay. And then you should practice your showmanship. So again, like I say, UX is not it's not magic. It takes time and discipline to learn it and understand it.
Right.
Okay. And as far as design is concerned, there's a dashboard experience, there's a search experience, there's a landing page. There's only 7 or 8 different types of experiences that you need to think of. Again, it's a finite set, it's not infinite. Okay.
Yes.
But you have to understand the nuances and how to apply it. Okay. And all you need to do is go systematically, know the frameworks, approach the problem, and practice your showmanship. No problems. You are done deal. It's no issues.
Right.
Okay. Now Rajiv has a question for me that says, hey, with AI in place, no, is ChatGPT the right tool or Perplexity or others? Okay. Now, again, keep in mind, Perplexity is interesting because it gives you citations and stuff like that. Okay, which is great. But again, are you trying to be, there's a trade-off when you're trying to do the task. What tool will help you get the job done? If you're trying to do something more creative, Perplexity, because it is more tightly connected to facts and data, it may not be as creative. Right? And whereas when you go to ChatGPT, the ChatGPT is a problem of hallucinating. Right? So these are both of these AIs are optimized to solve different problems. So understanding what the need at that point is and managing it would be the game. So for me, my preference, at least for this task, would be ChatGPT because I am controlling the hallucinations. If it hallucinates, I'll control it and bring it back. Right? But I still want more creative solutions. Right? So that is the way I would think about it. But again, there will be other tasks where you're looking at Perplexity for other stuff. But again, overall, I don't want you to, at this stage, because tools are moving so rapidly, you're getting new revisions every 6 months, 7 months, and stuff like that. I don't want you to worry about tools, whether it's Perplexity or ChatGPT or whatever. I'm not recommending a specific tool. Okay. All I'm saying right now is figure out how to use the tool, get your habits and your strategies together. When the tool market stabilizes and you figure out which tool works for you, that's when you go with it. But right now, as far as I'm concerned, all of these tools are probably like a 49, 51, for different kinds of things. Okay. Don't worry about the tools. The other question that Rajiv is asking is, or actually I think he's collecting questions, is even with AI in place, right? How much experience must the candidate have so they'll be able to make better decisions and not just blindly follow AI? Good point, right? And again, the biggest mistake I see amongst people with less amount of experience, again, I break it down into like people with more experience versus less experience. People with less experience, okay, struggle with connecting the dots. People with experience will say, okay, they understand, okay, if this is my user and then this is my action, these are my decisions, this is the data. So they will connect all of these dots together and they can see how everything connects from beginning to end. People who have less experience struggle with connecting those dots. Okay. Now, what AI has done is it has allowed you to focus only on connecting those dots. Right? You say, okay, what is the user? If you follow the process, you just, what is the user? Who's the user? What is the decisions they're trying to make? What data do they have? Well, what features should we put up there? Right? And what is the priority? How do you prioritize the user? How do you prioritize the decisions? How do you prioritize all the other aspects, right? So this is what you're looking at. So again, from a candidate perspective, I would generally, and this is interesting, is earlier with people, and you're probably seeing this as well, people with 10 to 15 years of experience, okay? Most of them, you could probably have somebody with 5 years of experience and still get the same amount of work done with 80, 90%. So chances are that a lot of hiring managers will be flexible in kind of looking at it, but they want to see whether you have the critical thought and the ability to execute. Okay. So the answer to this is, how much experience must a candidate have? I would say you need to have enough experience to know the frameworks. You need to have enough experience to know which framework applies where, and you need to have enough experience to have the ability to prioritize. If you have those skills, then you have a shot at getting that job. Okay. All right. And then the last one is, if we have a prompt library in place, can we use the prompt framework and just copy and paste? Awesome. Achyut, can you share your prompt library? And again, this is why it is important. Okay. I want you to see Achyut's prompt library. This guy has like a huge library of prompts. Okay. But the first time we did this task, it was, I would not hire you. Right? Copying and pasting is simply knowing, okay, here are the prompts, that's it. But why should you copy and paste that command? Why should you keep it in that form? Why not in some other form, right? So that is what you need to be thinking as you are doing. Why something, why not something? If you can answer those questions, that is when you will be able to use your prompt framework. This is Achyut's collection of all the prompt frameworks. Right.
These are like thinking tools. These are only framework related, sir. There are other things which I don't touch much, but I feel frameworks, like you have been telling from the beginning.
Right. So yeah, so my point is, just having these does not help you get the interviews or does not help you get the job. Okay, knowing when to use what is going to make the difference. Good. Thank you very much, Achyut. All right. Any other questions, thoughts before we end the call today?
Sir, I got the job on.
Yes, you did.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. So thank you very much, Achyut. Thank you very much, Achyut, and thank you very much, everybody that has turned on their cameras and and made this a lively event. So we look forward to doing another one of these Fridays. But in the meantime, what I would love for all of you is, if you have ideas and thoughts, share them. Because this was something that we were just talking at the end of 2 Fridays and said, oh, Achyut is really good at AI. And then we said, hey, why don't we do something? And then we put something together. Okay. So if you have ideas, you have questions, and you have something that you're facing at work or whatever, share it. And then we can maybe create something around that and then do a Friday event with that. Okay. All right. Have a great weekend. Talk to you next week.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye. Bye.